This meeting of the Clinton Township Board to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A roll call, please, Ms. Meltzer.
Trustee Wade.
Here.
Trustee Matuzak.
Here.
Trustee Kress.
Present.
Supervisor Gilliam.
Here.
Trustee King.
Present.
Treasurer Aiello.
Present.
Clerk Meltzer here.
Chair recognizes Clerk Meltzer for the purposes of a election-related public service announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just because I wasn't here last board meeting, I apologize. I did get some kind of virus, but anyway, feeling much better. Our voter turnout for the August 4th election was only 27.68%. That was a total of 22,953 voters that voted in that election. We do have over 80,000 registered voters, so that's a low percentage, under 30%. Absentee voters, those that voted mail-in ballots, was 14,854 voters out of that 22,953. So the rest were in-person voters. A limited number were in person at early voting, with those 9 days of early voting that we host. The majority of the early voting did take place on Election Day. Of the two ballot initiatives that were on many of the ballots in Clinton Township, including Clintondale is one of them, and Lance Cruz, both of those millages passed. So by not a big margin, but it's definitely a significant one, 51.46% Clintondale and 51.58% Lance Cruz. And that is all I have to report. And just on that election, the upcoming election, November 3rd election, is ballots are going to be mailed out September 24th if you're voting absentee and on the permanent ballot list. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda.
I'll support it.
moved and supported? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Wade.
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak.
Yes.
Trustee Kress.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Motion passes.
Item number 1, the consent agenda.
I move adopting the consent agenda as printed.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Discussion on any of the items. Roll call, please.
Sure.
No, Trustee Kress.
Is there someone that can give us an overview for 1G, which is the capital outlay budget repairs and upgrade to the Civic Center? Just kind of give us a gloss over what exactly we're getting done and how much it costs.
Ms. Bednar?
Yes, I can do that, Mr. Kress. So 2 years ago, we had budgeted the exterior architectural feature on the Civic Center building here. Some people call it the brick steps that goes all the way around the entire building. Is that brick is deteriorating, and in many cases, in fact, when you walk here into the boardroom area, you'll see it's coned off because it's actually fallen completely apart. So this is basically an architectural feature that we're building a retaining wall there instead of the steps. And it was approved 2 years ago as part of the budget. It got carried over into this year's budget. And so this project is basically doing the front of the building or the parking lot side of the building. And then at a later date, we have a couple contractors look at it. The road side of the building can be just tuck pointed. So we will be bidding that out as a tuck pointing, but this is just to fix the parking lot side of the building. And it is budgeted and a carryover from 2 years ago.
And what's the total cost?
It looks like it's $32,668.30.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Matuzak.
Yes.
Treasurer Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Wade.
Yes.
Trustee Kress.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Motion passes.
Item number 2, introduction of applicant for appointment to the Conservation and Beautification Committee.
Dear board members, there are 3 full-time terms open on the Conservation Beautification Committee. The committee holds terms of 3 years. The terms have an expiration date of November 30th, 2029. Attached for your review is the application for appointment for the following applicant, Anthony Lewis. Per the policy guidelines, an invitation has been extended to the applicant to attend the August 24th, 2026 board meeting, where he is requested to make a 3-minute introduction. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. Sincerely, Paul Gilliam, Supervisor.
Is Mr. Lewis with us this evening? Sir, if you could step up to the podium. You have a total of 3 minutes to introduce yourself to the board as an applicant for this position.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Anthony Lewis, and I'm excited to be considered for the Beautification and Conservation Committee because I care deeply about our community and its future. I am an elementary principal in the community, and through my work in education, I have the opportunity to work with students, families, staff, community members every day. I understand the importance of bringing people together, listening to different perspectives, and working towards a shared vision. I'm also an Eagle Scout, so service, leadership, and stewardship have been an important part of my life for many, many years. I have a genuine love for our nature, our conservation, and enjoy gardening and creating a beautiful space even in my own home. I'm passionate about giving back to the community, preserving our natural resources, and educating others about the importance of taking care of the place that we all call home. So I'd be honored to bring my leadership experience, passion for service, and love for our community to this committee. So I just thank you for the opportunity and thank you for considering me, and I'd be excited to serve here in Clinton Township. I do want to add that I don't want to be rude after this, but I do want to excuse myself before the meeting. It's my daughter's 5th birthday, so I have to step out after the vote. So I just didn't want to be rude and excuse myself after this. But thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Appreciate that. Appreciate
you.
your interest in serving. So at the discretion of the board, we have the opportunity to wait till next meeting or to make the appointment this evening. Have Trustee King as the chair of the Conservation Committee and then Clerk Meltzer. Trustee King.
I'd like to make the motion to be able to move forward and bring him onto the commission tonight.
I'll second that.
Okay. Been moved and supported?
By whom?
I'm sorry?
Who was it? Who supported? Because they both said it at the same time.
So
Who did you pick?
Moved by Trustee King, supported
I
by
think it's Kress, right?
Trustee Kress.
Okay. And I have a question.
Clerk Meltzer.
So just want to know, because I also garden, what did you grow this summer and how well did it do?
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of rain, so we have our standard vegetables in the garden. But my 2 little girls, we have a butterfly garden. So we have a lot of Michigan natural plant or native plants that we grow, a lot of milkweed. Actually, we just had some monarch caterpillars on the house, and they just hatched this past weekend. So
Nice.
A lot of exciting stuff.
Good, very good. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Any further discussion?
I would just like to point out that Mr. Lewis's background check came back clean. I made a mistake last week. I was implying somebody had a bad background. So now I'm saying it more carefully.
All right. Okay, so any further discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Meltzer.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Kress.
Yes.
Trustee Wade.
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam.
Yes.
Treasurer Ayala.
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Motion passes. And tell your daughter happy birthday.
I will. Thank you so much, everybody.
And
Have a wonderful night.
congratulations. Thank you again for your interest in serving. And Conservation Committee is the committee where you go out and get your hands dirty. So
That's what I've heard, so
yep.
thank you.
We appreciate your willingness to do that.
Yep, thank you
Okay.
so much.
All
Have a
right.
nice night.
Yep. All right. Item number 3, request to approve amended Great Lakes Water Authority water service contract.
Dear members of the board, on behalf of Clinton Township, Mary Hine, Finance Director, Mary Bednar, Director of Public Services, and I have worked with GLWA, Great Lakes Water Authority, to renegotiate and amend the current water service contract. We have updated the contract to reflect the current infrastructure exhibits and to reduce our peak hour demand and max day allotments in response to how our system is operated. This may allow for the possibility of helping to offset rate increases in the future. Township Attorney Linda McGrail has reviewed this amendment. It is recommended to approve this contract amendment. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Respectfully submitted, Joe Tresick, Assistant Superintendent of Water and Sewer.
Discussion on the item.
Mr. Supervisor?
Uh,
More a
Trustee
question.
Matuzek.
I would like to better understand the discussion here in the materials about the timing of our usage and what that means.
I think are you asking for the amendment of the peak hour and?
I guess I'm
next-
asking how Great Lakes bills us and what the timing of use has to do with anything.
So every 5 years, Great Lakes Water Authority amends the contract for communities. So we're in our 5-year, this is our 5th-year amendment. At that point, we go in and amend anything, for example, when we put pressure reducing valves in, which helps us regulate our flows, our operation, we can update the drawings to show that. When you do different things, or say another community might be building a storage facility, so at their 5 years, they can update it saying that they now have storage type idea. So every 5 years, we evaluate it, we look at how we've operated the system, can we do something differently to, be more efficient and optimize the system? And that gives us a chance to make the changes into the contract to reflect that. So the 2 biggest changes we made was our peak hour demand and our max day, which are 2 of the more larger components when rates are calculated. So we're hoping that our reduction in those will be able to help offset any rate increases. We'll still have rate increases, but we're hoping that it won't be as much.
So we get charged more during peak hours? The rate is
No,
is
so
slightly more?
so it has to do with so. We get charged a constant rate. However, when they're figuring out the operation of their system, they have to make sure they can deliver enough water to everybody on a peak hour or the max day. So their pumps have to be this big, where in the winter they might only have to be this big, but they still have to operate and maintain this. So by us reducing that, when they go to do their capital outlay, like we do our capital outlay, then they can maybe make changes and so forth, which could save the overall system, costs and so forth.
Thank you. I have a better understanding now.
Trustee Wade.
What would be considered peak hour?
So so how Great Lakes Water Authority determines that is it's a system-wide. So typically, it's in the summer. And it's when the system sees, the Great Lakes Water Authority system sees the highest demand in that hour. And then max day is the same thing, where they see the highest demand on that maximum day. Typically, I will say, depends on the rain, if it's dry and so forth. But usually it's sometime in July is when you see it. I've seen it in June, I've seen it in August, but it's typically beginning of July, plus or minus, is when we start to see that heat real hit and lack of rain.
That's the max day.
And peak
He was
hour.
asking about the peak hour.
Yeah, the peak hour is the same thing, is the 1 hour that the system, so that would be to make sure everyone has water in the whole system. That was the highest amount, the peak hour that it impacted. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Meltzer.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Oh,
I'll
you're
support
right.
it.
We do not have a motion.
Who supported that?
Okay, supported by Trustee Wade.
Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gillihan?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Motion passes.
Item number 4, introduction of Township Ordinance number 507, which is the codification of our township ordinances.
This is an annual process we do to be in compliance with state statute and the codification of ordinances introduced throughout the year. Just need a motion to approve as received,
I'll make that motion to
to
approve
receive as.
and receive and file.
I think this, I know, but I thought it was one and done on this one. Do we have to do it twice?
I just went by what the agenda.
Introduction. Yeah, this would be an introduction then. I thought we had already
So
introduced
you need
it.
approval for the introduction?
Yes,
Approve.
motion to approve.
Support.
Thank you.
So the motion is for introduction and opening of the public hearing then?
And publish. No, it's to introduce and publish.
Introduce and publish, got it, okay.
And then we'll adopt at the next regular board meeting.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Any discussion?
Just clarification. So what we're doing is during the course of the year when we have changed ordinances, we sort of list them one at a time, but this then puts them all together in one document.
Codifies them and makes them accessible to people to review and easily accessible to, locate. But these are not necessarily, well, there's some are amendments, but most are new amendments that
Right.
we introduce.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there's public comment on these, you contact the clerk's office or the supervisor's office. We'll be happy to accommodate, answer any questions. We'll vote on this at the next meeting. Roll call, please.
Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Melser, yes. Motion passes.
Item number 5, recommendation of the bid award for the Harrington Pump Station electrical and mechanical improvements and pump upgrades.
Dear board members, on July 22nd, 2026, the Charter Township of Clinton's Clerk's Office received and processed a total of 3 bids for the above referenced project. Our office checked the tabulation of the bids processed, and the low bidder is CSM Mechanical LLC of Milford, Michigan, in the bid total amount of $314,805.21. A copy of the final bid tabulation is attached with this letter. This project includes the removal and replacement of sanitary sewer pumps and all related appurtenances in the existing wet well of the Harrington Pump Station located at 21295 Harrington Road in Clinton Township, Michigan. The existing pumps shall be salvaged and repurposed at another sanitary sewer pump station. New conduit and wiring are proposed for a new relocated DTE meter and for new direct power and pump control connections from the pump station control panel to the new pumps in the existing wet well. A total of 3 owner-supplied air relief valves will need to be replaced. Pavement improvements are also proposed at the existing control panel and generator location. As a condition of the bid requirements, prospective bidders were required to be pre-qualified in pump station rehabilitation. CSM Mechanical LLC provided the necessary pre-qualification information to be considered for bid award. The bid results were reviewed with the Director of Public Services and Township personnel. Based upon the bids submitted and conditions noted above, we recommend that the Harrington Pump Station electrical and mechanical improvements with pump upgrades project be awarded to CSM Mechanical LLC located at 1235 Holden Avenue, Milford, Michigan 48381 in the amount of $314,805.21 with a total project budget amount of $380,666.78. This is a project budgeted for the 2026 fiscal year. These construction-related budgeted costs will need to be carried to the 2027 fiscal year with the applicable budget amendment included. Sincerely, Scott Chabot, Senior Project Manager with AEW.
Is there a motion?
That motion.
To receive and file the letter dated and from the Township Engineer and award the bid for the Harrington Pump Station electrical and mechanical improvements to CSM Mechanical LLC.
Along with corresponding budget amendments.
Further, the board approves the construction-related budgeted cost will be carried to the 2027 fiscal year with the applicable budget amendment.
Okay.
So it needs to move it to this current budget as well as the budget amendment.
And I'll second that motion if we don't have a second. Do we have a second?
We do not have a second yet. Moved by Treasurer Aiello, supported by Clerk Meltzer. Trustee Kress.
If I could ask Scott a question, please. Can you tell me what necessitates this change? I know that that's not very old there. How many years ago do you think we addressed that pump station?
So the improvements that were done a couple years ago were specifically just civil-related improvements. So that was the force main itself, and then water main that was installed. So that specific scope item was primarily related to the installation of the new water main and the new force main.
Okay, and the pumps haven't failed, and it seems like because they're gonna be salvaged, they still have life to them.
That's correct.
Why is it we're replacing the pumps?
Wet weather operation, we're looking at needing a little higher horsepower pumps to handle the wet weather events. So we've looked at some options of upgrading those pumps. And since those other ones are only about 10 years old, they definitely can be reused. And we're evaluating a couple stations where those could be repurposed.
So when those were installed, was that a miscalculation, or have conditions changed that now we need a higher horsepower?
I think it's just due to older homes with the, the footing drain connections and sewer leads, with more I&I. We're having some of those issues that have occurred, especially in those older homes in that subdivision.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further discussion? Trustee Matuzik?
This is part of our ongoing project of inspecting all the pumps that we approved earlier.
This was actually an item we've known prior to that evaluation. So
Okay.
this station, of course, really wasn't part of that because we already had this budgeted for this prior capital improvement budget year.
Okay, but we are going through and inspecting all the pipes. All the pumps.
Yes.
Got it.
Seeing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Treasurer Aiello.
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuziak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 6, recommendation for the bid award 2026 Community Development Block Grant Concrete Sidewalk and Ramp Improvements.
Dear board members, on August 18th, 2026, the Charter Township of Clinton's Clerk's Office received and processed a total of 8 bids for the above referenced project. A copy of the final bid tabulations for this project are attached with this letter. The project includes the removal and replacement of deficient sidewalks and ADA ramps within the CDBG eligible funding areas of the township. More specifically, this project's area includes sidewalks and ramps between Finley Street and Webster Street with varying west and east limits from Sherrill Street, Beaconsfield, and Gresham Avenue, map enclosed. Sidewalk locations that are part of future water main improvements will be improved as part of those future projects. The low bid amount was from BKJ Construction, Inc. in the amount of $210,462.50. This bidder promptly requested a bid withdrawal due to a computing mistake for the unit price on item 3, sidewalk removal of the bid form. They noted that the unit price included was 1/9 of the value that was intended for the sidewalk removal. This request for the bid withdrawal was submitted within the 24-hour period noted in the instructions to bidders. Township Board approval will be necessary for this withdrawal request based on the mistake communicated from the bidder. The second low bid amount is $238,900 from L. Anthony Construction, Inc. A bid correction was found to be necessary. A mistake on item 3, sidewalk removal of the bid form. The unit price amount was not entered correctly, and the bidder provided communication that the total amount for the bid item was correct and that the unit price shall be $15 per square yard. Bid provisions allow for the Township Board to waive irregularities and/or formalities, and in general to make award in the manner as determined to be in the Township's best interest and its sole discretion. AEW reviewed the contractor's qualifications and references and found them to be qualified to perform this work. L. Anthony Construction, Inc. has also successfully performed CDBG ADA ramp and sidewalk replacements in the past for Clinton Township. Based upon the bids submitted and conditions noted above, we recommend that the 2025 CDBG concrete sidewalk and ramp repairs be awarded to L. Anthony Construction Company, Inc., located at 12185 East Ridge Drive, Bruce Township, Michigan, 48065, Michigan, for the amount of $238,900, with a total budgeted amount of $270,912.60. A total amount of $212,110 has been allocated in the CDBG budget for this project. Costs associated with engineering will be from the general fund, and the budgeted construction-related costs that exceed the noted CDBG allocation will come from the 2026 CDBG budget. A breakdown of these budgeted amounts is attached. This bid award approval will require this budget amendment. A formal acceptance of the bid withdrawal from BJK Construction and the bid correction for L. Anthony Construction Company, Inc. will also require Township Board approval as part of this bid award. AEW will be present at the August 24th, 2026 Township Board meeting to address any questions on this bid award request. Sincerely, Scott Chabot, Senior Project Manager with AEW.
Ms. Bednar.
There is one correction to the letter. The costs associated with engineering will come from the infrastructure fund, capital improvement infrastructure fund, not the general fund.
Mr. Chabot, this was corrected in the packet this afternoon, right?
The bid tabulations were added.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was
Just want to make sure that
insertion.
folks are aware of that.
Thought they were combined in there, I caught it, so I want to make sure they were inserted in there prior to the,
Okay, yep. So we have new bid tabs with corrections.
that's correct.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the second lowest bid, Anthony's Construction.
I'll support that.
So it actually has to be a much lengthier
Okay.
motion,
Okay,
because we have to accept the withdrawal of the lowest bidder.
okay,
We also have to accept the modification or the, to the second lowest bidder,
Okay.
and then award it to the second lowest bidder. Did I get it all?
Yep.
Yeah.
that's what I'll make my motion to.
Okay.
As
To
per,
that effect,
to Mary
Treasurer
Bettner.
Aiello?
Yes.
Okay, and second?
I'll support that.
Trustee Wade? I know you had already said something, so I wanted to
Doesn't
make sure
matter.
you were in agreement. Okay, further discussion?
Oh, wait a minute, and a budget amendment.
Oh, yes.
And add that a budget amendment to
I'm so
that.
sorry.
It's like the last four sentences, basically, of the letter.
Last four sentences of the letter. Trustee Wade, you're in agreement?
Yes.
Just for clarification, I'll read the motion into the minutes if you guys don't mind. This is to receive and file the letter dated August 20th, 2026 from the Township Engineer and award the bid for the 2026 CDBG Concrete Sidewalk and Ramp Improvement Project to L. Anthony Construction Company, Inc., located at 12185 East Ridge Drive, Bruce Township, Michigan, in the amount of $238,900 with a total budgeted amount of $270,912.60. In addition, the board approves a formal bid withdrawal from BKJ Construction and bid correction for L. Anthony Construction Company as noted in the letter. Further, the board approves the budget amendments allocating general fund monies for engineering costs and 2026 CDBG funds for the outstanding construction-related costs as presented.
The only difference would be, as Ms. Bednar noted, the infrastructure fund and not the general fund.
Did it say from the general fund on the
I
motion?
think that was what you read on that.
And from
But that's the
infrastructure.
correction that needs to be made from the letter,
Okay.
The clarification.
From the
Or
infrastructure
clarification.
fund. Okay.
specifically out of that fund.
Yeah, okay. So that's, and both, does the motioner and the second agree?
I second.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Further discussion on the item? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes, motion passes.
Item number 7, recommendation for bid award, Neil Reid Park improvements and pickleball courts.
Dear board members, on August 20th, 2026, the Charter Township of Clinton's Clerk's Office received and processed a total of 4 bids for the above referenced project. A copy of the final bid tabulations for this project are attached with this letter. The project includes the removal of existing tennis courts, pickleball courts, an existing asphalt parking lot and access road pavement, and all other incidental sidewalks. Improvements include new pickleball courts, new asphalt parking lot and access road pavement, a dumpster enclosure, and improved drainage infrastructure. The low bid amount was from Best Asphalt, Inc. in the amount of $906,587.95. AEW reviewed the contractor's qualifications and references and found them to be qualified to perform this work. Based upon the bid submitted and conditions noted above, we recommend that the Neil Reid Park improvements and pickleball courts be awarded to Best Asphalt, Inc., located at 6334 Beverly Plaza, Romulus, Michigan 48174, in the amount of $906,587.95. The total budget amount for this project is $1,062,521.08. A budget amendment of $91,000 will be required as part of this bid award. Sincerely, Scott Chabot, Senior Project Manager with AEW. I'll make that motion with the required budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Discussion.
Motion.
Go to Treasurer Aiello.
This question is directed to Mary Bettner, our Director of Public Services. I understand that pickleball courts have sunlight directional, and so when we replace these, we're going to
Yeah,
build
so.
those accordingly.
Yeah,
correct?
they're gonna rotate them 90 degrees.
Okay.
So that way the sun isn't in people's eyes.
Okay.
We have the space to be able to do that. And we're also expanding the parking lot. It's a great problem to have with the 2 challenger fields and the popularity of pickleball. That parking lot fills up quite quickly. So this will hopefully address both those issues.
Thank you very much.
Further discussion. Roll call, please.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 8, request to establish Senior Center Advisory Committee.
Dear members of the board, through the work of the Establishing Quality Roads, the EQR Committee in partnership.
Wait, Senior Center Advisory. Item number 8.
Did I miss that? I'm so sorry. Oh, I thought we were doing, okay. Dear members of the Township Board, I'm requesting the Township Board consideration and approval to establish a Clinton Township Senior Center Advisory Committee to serve in an advisory capacity to the Senior and Family Recreation Department. As our Senior Center continues to grow and evolve, it is important that we have a formal way to hear directly from the members we serve. An advisory committee would provide an opportunity for active Senior Center participants to share their experiences, identify emerging needs, offer new ideas, and provide meaningful feedback on programs and services. The purpose of the committee would be to strengthen communication between the Senior Center, the senior community, and township government while supporting the continued development of programs and services that promote healthy, active, and engaged aging. Purposes and responsibilities. The Senior Center Advisory Committee would act in an advisory capacity to Senior Center staff in assessing participant needs and identifying senior and community needs. It would also provide recommendations and feedback regarding Senior Center programs, activities, services, and future initiatives. It would encourage new ideas and alternatives, points of view while working collaboratively toward the goals and objectives of the Senior Center. It would support cooperation and collaboration between older adults, the Senior Center, and the broader community. It also serves as a community liaison between Senior Center staff and the senior population. It will help promote the Senior Center as a focal point for programs, services, activities, and resources for older adults, and share information and updates with fellow Senior Center participants, and provide staff with feedback regarding the effectiveness and community response to programs and services. Membership. The Senior Center Advisory Committee would consist of 7 members appointed by the Township Board, plus a board liaison and a staff liaison. Committee members would consist of 7 current active members of the Clinton Township Senior Center, 1 Township Board member liaison, 1 Senior Center staff liaison, non-voting member. Establishing this committee would provide our senior community with a stronger voice while creating an ongoing partnership between participants, staff, and township leadership. I believe this structure will help us continue to identify needs, evaluate our services, encourage new ideas, and ensure that the Senior Center remains responsive to the community it serves. I respectfully request that the Township Board establish the Clinton Township Senior Center Advisory Committee for the purpose of strengthening communication between the Senior Center, the senior community, and the township while supporting the continued development of programs and services that promote healthy, active, and engaged aging. Sincerely, Tammy Letkavich, Director of Senior and Family Recreation.
And board members, Ms. Letkevich is in the audience tonight. If we have discussion on this item. Clerk Meltzer?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and thank you, Tammy, for bringing this forward and being instrumental in helping us form this committee. I did speak with the seniors about this over a year ago as we were transitioning from and combining departments, and thought it was a good idea if they had a stronger voice, and I think this is going to provide that opportunity for them. I look forward to seeing how this committee evolves, and I would ask that the board would approve me as that committee, as the Township Board Member Liaison.
Trustee Matuzik.
I'm going to assume that, like the Arboretum Committee and the Prince Drury Park Committee, that the Senior Advisory Committee will send a representative to the Parks and Rec Committee, where we sort of look at all things park and rec and make recommendations.
Yeah, so that would be the goal of it. I did talk to them about that, and they're like, the timing of those meetings might be of a concern, but they said if they don't send a representative, they'll send reporting to that meeting to
Great.
make sure that they're in the loop on all of that. But yes, that is the goal.
That can also be the role of the board liaison as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would make a motion to establish the committee and that Ms. Meltzer would be the board representative.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Further discussion?
Who supported it? Who did you, Chris?
Trustee Kress. No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Treasurer Ayala?
Yes.
Clerk Meltzer, yes. Motion passes.
Item number 9, recommendation for township participation in road SAD projects.
Hey, Tammy, make sure you send me their calendar. Thanks. Dear members of the board, through the work of the Establishing Quality Roads Committee in partnership with the Macomb County Department of Roads, we've made tremendous strides on improving the quality of our main roads. The remaining challenge is addressing the needs of our rapidly deteriorating subdivision streets. The traditional model of fixing subdivision roads in township has been through the utilization of the Subdivision Recreation Program, or SRP. which-
Reconstruction. Sorry.
what did I say?
Recreation.
What did I say? I'm so sorry. Subdivision Reconstruction Program, the SRP, which provides a 50% cost share paid by the county combined with a 50% cost share paid by the residents through a special assessment district SAD process. The problem is that all recent applications for the creation of a road reconstruction SAD have failed due to a lack of support. Even with 50% funding by the county, the remaining cost to the residents was simply far too high. Largely driven by public engagement facilitated by the township, that has encouraged residents to contact their legislators and lobby for systemic reform and the dollars we need to fix local roads. The Macomb County Department of Road is finally beginning to see additional funds. A recent notification from the Macomb County Department of Roads informed us of modifications to the Subdivision Reconstruction Program, SRP, to reflect a cost share of 75% Macomb County Department of Road and 25% community cost. One of the worst residential streets in the township is Finley, where a recent petition has been initiated by local residents on the street. In working with the Department of Public Services, we believe this application can be successful using a cooperative approach that also includes township participation. A township infrastructure fund was created through the infusion of federal relief dollars that are disaggregated from the general fund. From the general fund. The criteria for use of these dollars is when they can be used to pull down more funding from other sources and leverage additional investment in our community. Even with a 75% county share, 10% water and sewer funds as part of necessary water replacement, this project presents an additional challenge. Significant portions of the street are adjacent to existing church property where approval of an SAD is unlikely. In response, I am asking that the board approve the use of the infrastructure fund to cover the per foot cost of the 2 parcels on Finley that are church-related properties, so those costs are not added to the per foot charge of the existing residents. This amounts to approximately $65,000, or roughly 2.25% of the project cost. With the new increased cost share as determined by the Macomb County Department of Roads, residential assessments, and township participation, it is my hope that we can develop an all-hands-on-deck approach to fixing one of the worst residential streets in the township and use this formula as a model going forward on future projects. Thank you for your consideration. Paul Gilliam, Township Supervisor.
Discussion? Trustee Matuzik.
I think it's a great idea. We struggle just to get SADs because they're so ridiculously expensive. But in addition to that, there are some places where there are vacant lots, there are churches, there are schools, there are places that are just not going to contribute to the cost of this. And I think it makes sense to use some of our infrastructure dollars to make these improvements happen. I think it's in the same way that we were able to get money for some of the feeder roads, as we call them. That has made a huge difference. I've heard from so many people that say, I can get out of my subdivision now. It's so much nicer to be able to help some of these neighborhood streets that could do an SAD but have some non-profit related property on them. Mm-hmm. I think this is a great use of our money.
Trustee King.
Is this just going to be, as Ms. Matuszek just mentioned, is it going to just be when there's a nonprofit aspect tied to that road, or are we going to be open to other circumstances that preclude them to be able to move forward with the SAD?
Yeah, so the recommendation is for this project alone. I think a lot of these have individual and unique characteristics where making a blanket policy is difficult. Mm-hmm. So I see these things coming to the board as people petition their neighbors, and we come up with a funding formula that works. The good thing is that we now have more money actually coming from the county because the county is getting more money from the state. And so this is the opportunity where we can get a project that was, quite frankly, otherwise impossible up until this point.
Just to clarify real quick, the petition's out. They have not received the signatures yet, but this is just the first step so that they know, how to proceed with that. So if they get their petitions, we'll still come back and do public hearings and that whole SAD process, as well as apply for the county subdivision reconstruction program.
Mm-hmm. Clerk Meltzer.
So I know that you had spoken with the petitioner. I wanted to know, are they clear that, this is a phenomenal opportunity, that they are, and being able to message that to the residents in that district? Do you expect a positive outcome on this? And also one other real quick comment is, this is not unusual. We do make these exceptions, when it is necessary to do so in this case. I think it's a really good use of the funds and appropriate to do so.
Yeah, so these are residents that have previously contacted me. Mm-hmm. And so then Ms. Bednar and I, along with Mr. Chabot, a number of others, public service, road related, our EQR committee folks, smaller group of them obviously, but had a meeting scheduled for Thursday last week. We got the notification from the county that this was possible, and the new funding allocation was being bumped up to 75%. And so we actually met on Tuesday, stepped that up to say, we want to give more time. It's a very, very narrow time frame. What the county basically said to us is, we're increasing the funding percentage. Do you want to do any projects for subdivision reconstruction this year? And by the way, submit them by, September 21st or 25th. September 25th. It's a very short window.
It is, yeah.
It's a lot of work to do, but I believe, to answer your question, the residents are well aware that this is kind of a one-time opportunity. Yeah. I don't see it getting better than this.
Is there more funding, though, if, let's say, there's a smaller street that would want to do something like this? Is that if they were able to quickly, get those petitions, is there enough funding for an additional road?
Yeah. So while the County Department of Roads adjusted the funding percentage, they didn't adjust the total.
Okay.
So it's a total of 3 projects, and I believe a total of 1.4 million, Ms. Bednar?
It's 1.3 million per project.
1.3 million.
So we can submit only 3 projects. And this road is actually needed to be divided into 3 projects because of the length. So in the future, you know, hopefully they might be able to increase the number as well and so forth. But right now, we're limited to 3 projects.
Okay, I didn't realize, I thought I did know it was broken down into 3, but I did think there was there's a small road right off of Moravian that is just in really bad shape, and thought maybe they could take advantage of it, but it doesn't look like they can.
Yeah.
Unless could we make an ask on that, or?
So we have to apply, and then they look at how much funding they have, and they look at the other communities. So if we ask for 4, then everyone else can ask for 4.
But they don't have to get it, just us.
Well, we can try to ask that, but I'm
We're
not
in
sure that
greater
would go
need,
well.
Much greater need.
So as a point of clarification, it's, so it's not 1.3 million per project, it's 1.3 million per community with a total of 3 projects. Is that correct?
No, it's 1.3 per
Three.
project, and
Got
this
it.
is
Okay,
3
got it.
projects.
Okay, this is 3 projects. So, another thing I want to mention, Trustee Matuzik had mentioned a lot of the projects that we're currently doing. We have more road projects this year than we've had in any single year, probably in 3 decades, at least. One of the things that we've been able to work with the County Department of Roads on is what they call overlay projects, or referred to by the County Department of Roads as SPP, Subdivision Preservation Projects. So under their maintenance budget, they've offered a cost share of 75% funded by the county, 25% funded by us. What we did is focused on those feeder roads, those roads that we know that everybody has to drive on, but it's very unlikely we'll be able to get an SAD approved because of properties where, for example, Carlier Street, Little Mac out to Groesbeck. Anybody who lives between 14 Mile and 15 Mile, Groesbeck to Gratiot, is going to drive at some point or another on Carlier Street. Carlier Street has privately owned but vacant lots. So, in a sense, developers that are speculating. They're not going to approve a reconstruction of Carlier. So we worked with the Department of Roads to get the overlay. Much cheaper project, not going to last as long. But at some point, the dilemma is this: at what point is the road too far gone that an overlay doesn't work? And Findlay has been in such a state of disrepair for so long that we don't think an overlay is a wise investment. It's not a good use of money. It's going to deteriorate that much faster. Some of the overlays have been lasting a lot longer than they used to, but in this case, we don't think it would have that extended life. The other component of this is one of the things we did on the main roads is to avoid arbitrary decision-making. So where the county issues a call for projects, a bunch of people at the township get together and say, hey, we've gotten a lot of calls on this, or a lot of calls on that. We said, no, we're coming up with a ranking system and a scoring system. We're trying to do that now with the subdivision streets as well. And so we know that Findlay is either the worst or right up at the top, and we have people that are willing to go do the petitions. So.
Very good.
So we need
So
a
I'll make a
motion.
motion to receive and file the letter dated August 20th, 2026 from the Township Supervisor and approve the following policy regarding tax exempt properties in an SAD. The Township will use available federal infrastructure funds to cover the applicable front footage of all tax exempt properties within an established SAD, reducing the overall assessment burden on the remaining property owners within the district. We need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Further discussion? Ms. Bednar? I think the motion works, though.
Do you want to
Because
add to that?
it's specific to this
I'm open
project.
to it. I'm open to adding to.
To be specific to this project.
Specific to this project.
Within the district, okay.
And indeed, the two churches are tax exempt properties. Doesn't mean that you can't do a special assessment on tax exempt properties, because you can, but it's unlikely that they would be approved. So, just a point of clarification. Okay,
Yep,
All right.
agreed.
roll call, please.
Clerk Melcher, yes. Treasurer Ayala?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gillaham?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 10, adopt the resolution authorizing the CLEMIS agreement.
I'm requesting that Clinton Township Board adopt the CLEMIS resolution as drafted by Township Attorney Linda McGrail to authorize Clinton Township to enter into a new agreement directly with the CLEMIS Authority. The CLEMIS, Courts and Law Enforcement Management Information System Authority, provides critical law enforcement information systems and services to participating agencies, including access to databases used for criminal investigations, records, warrants, case information, and other law enforcement purposes. The Clinton Township Police Department relies extensively on CLEMIS databases and services for a majority of our investigations and daily law enforcement operations. The CLEMIS Authority is now an independent governmental entity separate from Oakland County. As a result, Clinton Township's existing agreement with Oakland County will terminate on September 30th, 2026, and a new agreement directly with the CLEMIS Authority is required to ensure uninterrupted access to these services. This change does not represent a new or unbudgeted expenditure for the township. CLEMIS services are an existing budgeted police department expense, and this resolution is necessary to continue the service the department has historically utilized. I respectfully request that the board approve the CLEMIS resolution as drafted by Attorney McGrail so that the police department can maintain uninterrupted access to these essential law enforcement resources. Thank you for your consideration and continued support of the Clinton Township Police Department. Chief Susala, Chief of Police.
Discussion on the item.
So moved to approve.
There's a motion to approve
I'll second that.
and a second. Discussion, Trustee Crest.
On page 171, it says CLEMIS membership, quantity 90 at $255 a year. And then the next line is leads, LEADS, online subscription, $8,100 a year. Can somebody tell me the difference? I'd imagine, I don't want to assume that there's 90 memberships and they're all of our officers. I would assume that's what it is, but I want clarity on that. And the second one, what's the separate membership for the $8,100 a year?
Sorry, what page are you on, Trustee Crest?
171.
I don't have a 171.
Okay.
Right after this page.
Captain Capola?
Sir, the trustee Kress is correct. It is of our 90 officers, 200 and, don't have my glasses on, I apologize, 255 a year for that total, sir. And Leads Online, that is a electronic database of all records associated with pawn shops. So whenever someone pawns an item, it needs to be registered in the Leads database system for our investigators to track whether items are obtained fraudulently or through stolen property.
Okay. The 90 memberships for our officers, do we retain them if an officer leaves, or does the membership follow the officer?
At the time of billing, they calculate how many officers are there at the time, obviously with the assumption that when one officer leaves, another officer will be promoted to that position.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Clerk Melcher, yes. Treasurer Ayala?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gillaham?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item number 11 is closed session to discuss legal communication regarding priority waste. We will not be coming out of closed session, but we need a motion to go into closed
I'll
session.
make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second that.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Clerk Meltzer? Yes. Hang on one second. Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And that brings us to public comment. Mr. Buchel.
Good evening. As you all know, since the last meeting, I've been sending you a case a day of a site plan that was sent to you with letters, and again, gave you copies of the letters right off of the Township website, where the Planning Department and the Planning Commission said these items met or exceeded all the Township ordinances, where they clearly did not. And there again, it was specified that in one case, which was kind of funny, which shows that somebody knew the right or what was required, because next to Detroit Diesel, they have a storage yard that they approved a chain link fence instead of the required masonry wall. Then Dees Marine came in, and they, in the letter from the planning department, said that, well, they need a masonry wall because it's a storage yard. They went to court, and because you guys all approved several of these chain link fence over, without no variances were done. They didn't go to the ZBA because they couldn't go to the ZBA because it was cost only. That's the only, and the ZBA can't approve something for cost only. So now you all know this very, very well, that this is actually served, there's been more lawsuits that I'm aware of that definitely will be coming in the future. It's just a matter of, this board all knows that there's a problem. Now, if you are not going to allow the people that have been sending on these false recommendations, knowing that they've already, you've also got a lot of cases. I've noticed that mostly churches, they have to meet every single standard, including all the masonry walls. At the same time, all these places have been approved. You can go back and look at the records, or I can send you the records. But these are your records, not my records, and they're off the board. You all know this. And so if you do not do something right now to take care of this, that means that all of you are, for some reason, financial or otherwise, I don't know, you're actually allowing this to go on, and it's actually deteriorating the valuation of our ordinances, because the company after company has gone into court to sue now, and they've gotten approved. You're literally deteriorating the township as we speak, and each of you know it, and you all have the proof. I know, Ms. Melcher said that the trustees, that doesn't count to them, they don't have to worry about it. I think you do it when you voted on it. When you voted on it and put your name on the line, that means you either didn't realize it, in most cases because I had notified you and you all knew, yes, you knew masonry walls were required. You knew what you were doing. And I don't think by law that leaves you innocent. Thank you.
That concludes the public participation for the evening. We'll be moving to closed session.
We're not coming. We can adjourn then.
Might as well just do it in here.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah, that's right, correct. We need a motion.
I'll make
to
that
adjourn.
motion.
Second it.
Moved
Clerk-
and supported.
Clerk Meltzer, yes.
Roll call, please.
Treasurer Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Wade?
Yes.
Trustee Matuzak?
Yes.
Trustee Kress?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilliam?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Motion passes.